What's up, guys? Hockey Dude 1940 here. We are back with another episode of our Let's Talk NHL series, and in this video I want to talk about the trade that happened today. And yeah, I'll go over the details in a second. Let me just set up the shootout, because as always I have the players on their new teams. So let's just switch this to the Arizona Coyotes and the New York Rangers. So the details. The New York Rangers acquire defenseman Keith Yandle and Chris Summers, as well as a 2015 fourth-round pick, and the Arizona Coyotes acquire forward prospect Anthony Duclair, defenseman John Moore, a 2016 first-round draft pick, and a 2015 second-round draft pick. So, my initial thoughts on the deal, I'm just going to talk a little bit before we get into the shootout. I was so shocked when I first saw this, because I had heard about Keith Yandle trade rumors since last year's trade deadline. And it seemed like the main teams were always, the Red Wings or the Blackhawks. It was always those types of teams, especially the Red Wings. So I'd always seen Keith Yandle trade rumors. I saw that the Rangers were going for a defenseman, but I never thought about the Rangers trading for Keith Yandle. And I never thought in a million years that the Rangers would trade Anthony Duclair. So when I initially saw this, at first it was excitement. Because the only name I saw at first was Keith Yandle, so I was like, oh my god, the Rangers just got Keith Yandle, the all-star defenseman out of Arizona. And then I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? If we just got Keith Yandle, we must have given up a lot, and the Rangers definitely did. So let's jump into the shootout now. Medium, let's put the control on. Shooter rules on, why not? There we go. And then after I looked at the deal and I thought about it for a while, I really do like the deal. I like the deal for both sides. I think it really does work. And all the Ranger fans are just all the Ranger fans are saying fire Glenn Sather, he's horrible, just get rid of him, this was a horrible trade. You guys just stop talking. Because the guy he's made some amazing trades. I mean, when's the last time Glenn Sather made a bad trade? I mean, sure, the Ryan Callahan trade last year, did he have to put in 2 first-round picks? I mean, I know the one was conditional, but did he have to put in the 2 first-round picks? No, he probably could have gotten Callahan for St. Louis straight up, because, what's his name? Steve Yzerman only had one team to deal with, so it probably wouldn't have been that hard. But, the guy hasn't done wrong, really, other than, some bad signings. Trades, he's been great. So all you guys saying fire Glenn Sather, I mean, he's the guy that's gotten us the great team that we have. So you can't get on Glenn Sather for making this deal. And there's Anthony Duclair, his Arizona Coyotes jersey. But and the Ranger fans saying that they shouldn't be giving up youth and all that. I mean, at first I was extremely shocked, and I was actually kind of sad that they gave up Duclair and another first-round pick, because the Rangers now have traded away 4 first-round picks in a row. The 2013 pick went to Rick Nash in the Rick Nash deal. The 2014 and 15 picks went in the St. Louis deal, and then the 2016 pick now goes in the Keith Yandle deal. So the Rangers, they haven't had a first-round pick now four straight years, unless they trade for some at either draft. Yes, so now what I think about the deal, I think it is great for both teams. Yes, the Rangers gave up a lot for Keith Yandle, but you know what Keith Yandle is? He's an all-star offensive defenseman, which the Rangers don't have. Ryan McDonough is a two-way defenseman. He's more defensively minded. Yes, he has his offensive talents, but he's not going to go end-to-end or quarterback the power play or anything like that. Dan Girardi, Mark Stahl, 2 pure defensive defensemen. Dan Boyle, you could say he's an offensive defenseman, but the guy's 39. He's really been slowing down this season. He hasn't been quite what they thought they were getting when they signed him. And then Kevin Klein, he definitely has his offensive upside. He's had a great goal, point-producing season. But again, he's not an all-star offensive defenseman. He's still a defensive guy with a great shot. But Keith Yandle is a pure offensive defenseman, 28 years old. That's something that I haven't seen the Rangers have in a while. When's the last time the Rangers had a pure offensive defenseman at this age? It's been a while. I can't even think of one. But the Rangers, this makes the defensive core even deadlier. I don't know how that shot just went in. Let me see this. Yeah, I guess the pad is behind the line. But the Ranger defensive core just looks absolutely stacked now. Just think about this. I know these won't be the lines exactly, but I'm just going to take out John Moore and insert Yandle in. Just imagine these lines. Ryan McDonough, Daniel Girardi, Mark Stahl, Dan Boyle, Keith Yandle, and Kevin Klein. Or switch Klein and Boyle. Just those 6 defensemen, and then you have Matt Helmwick and Chris Summers to step up as the injury replacements. Which I was also happy to see that the Rangers got Summers in the deal, because another thing the Rangers were looking for was a depth defenseman in case of an injury, to replace Helmwick or more. So to start off with, the Rangers are getting, like I said, a pure offensive defenseman. He's experienced, he's 28 years old. This guy, he's not old, which is perfect. He's right in his prime. He's not a rookie. He's not, 24 or younger. He's not, he's not over 31 or 32 or anything like that. He's right in his prime. He's a leader. He was a leader there in Arizona, and this guy's going to be playing hard. He's going from one of the worst teams in the league to the Big Apple, Madison Square Garden. So he's going to be pumped to play, especially come playoff time. Just adding the presence of Keith Yandle to what the Rangers already have. I mean, that's just it's insane to think about. The Rangers also getting a 4th round pick. The Rangers have proven in the past, some of the Rangers' better picks over the years have come in the later rounds. Anthony Duclair, he was a 3rd round pick. Brandon Halverson last year, the goaltender, he was a 3rd round pick. Henrik Lundqvist was a 7th round pick, but I mean, that was a while ago. Let's just jump into another one. I know, career, I jumped into the wrong thing. Quick modes. Training. Shootout, okay. Now for what the Arizona Coyotes are getting back. What the Arizona Coyotes are getting back is a grade A prospect in Anthony Duclair. Anthony Duclair, I'm not going to say he is going to be, because, with the deal with any prospect is you never know. But he is supposed to be a very, very good offensive prospect. He's an amazing prospect. He was the Rangers' best prospect. Arizona Coyote fans, I would be very excited about Anthony Duclair, because someday I can't say I can guarantee, but I think Anthony Duclair can definitely be a 40 to 50 goal scorer in his prime eventually. I think he can get there. He is an amazing offensive talent. Just when I saw it in preseason at the beginning of the NHL season, he's incredibly fast, and he's got great hands and a great shot. He still has things to work on. He's not NHL ready right now, obviously. He did okay at the beginning of the year, but obviously the Rangers, it's a tough team to make right now. I'm sure he could fit into Arizona maybe next year or the year after. Yeah, incredible offensive upside. Defensively, he's not a defensive player at all. You don't need him to be. But yes, Anthony Duclair, he's the one piece of the deal that I was uncertain about, and I know a lot of people are angry at Sather for trading Anthony Duclair in this deal, but I'll get to it in a minute why I would rather Duclair over this other player. John Moore is a solid top 6 young defenseman with offensive upside. John Moore, he was one of those defensemen on the Rangers. I wasn't too crazy about him. It's not that I didn't like him. I didn't notice him too much. He was on and off this season. He and Matt Helmwick were trading positions in and out of the lineup. He never did anything bad. He never made a lot of mistakes, but he never did anything too special either. So you could say he was a solid defenseman. He fit in. He wasn't bad and he wasn't great. Will he grow into an eventual top 4 defenseman? I wouldn't say so. I think he's going to stay at a top 6, maybe get to a top 4. I don't know. But John Moore, very solid young top 6 defenseman right now. As well as a 2016 first-round pick. I mean, it's a first-round pick. It's going to be good. Even if it is the Rangers pick. I mean, any pick in the first round it's a good pick as long as you scout well. And then a 2015 second-round pick. So this year's draft, this is a very deep draft this year. If you have a pick in the top 3 or 4 rounds, it's going to be a good pick. So yes, the Rangers did give up a lot. I'm not going to say who won the trade because it's way too early to tell. But for all you people who think that, or Ranger fans that think the Rangers got robbed, they gave up way too much, they shouldn't be giving up more picks and more youth for older players. The Rangers, those people have to realize that, guys like Henrik Lundqvist, Rick Nash, Martin St. Louis, Mark Stahl, Dan Girardi, these guys are not getting older. If the Rangers keep these young guys, if the Rangers go into the playoffs right now with the lineup that they have, what happens if they lose Martin St. Louis in the offseason? They lose Dan Boyle after next season, or maybe trade him in the offseason or next year's trade deadline. Before you know it, the Rangers are going to be too old, and they're going to have to rebuild again, or retool. The Rangers aren't going to be this good for too much longer, so I'm willing to sacrifice one of our top prospects, if not our best prospect, to get a guy like Keith Yandle here in New York to try to help us win the Cup this year or next year, because Keith Yandle's deal expires after next season, not this year. And another part of the deal I forgot to mention is that the Arizona Coyotes retain half of Keith Yandle's salary, which I think is $5.25 million. So the Rangers only have to pay half of that, which is another huge part of the deal. Yeah, so the Rangers, this is it. This is the year, and they're putting all their chips in. They're going for the Cup, man. They're going for the Stanley Cup this year, and I'm excited because I think they can do it. I think they can do it now with adding Keith Yandle. If they can re-sign Zuccarello, at first I heard that they weren't going to trade him, and then over the past couple of days I've heard they're shopping him around. They're looking for a trade just because they can't agree with him on a contract. But now, as of right now, I'm hearing that they are very close to a contract extension, which is very good. Zuccarello is an incredible player, and if they can get Zuccarello signed, no problem, and be able to keep, what's his name? Guys like St. Louis. The Rangers, they can be a very serious contenders this year. Now adding these players, and the Rangers, Glenn Sather, they never fail. They never fail me. They always make a huge deal every single year. 2010, they traded Scott Gomez for Ryan McDonough and a package of players, and they signed Marian Gaborik. 2011, they traded for Brian McCabe at the trade deadline, which was one of the bigger moves. 2012, they signed Brad Richards. 2013, they traded for Rick Nash. In 2012, technically, leading into the 2013 season. 2013, they traded Marian Gaborik. 2014, they traded Callahan for St. Louis. And now in 2015, they trade for Keith Yandle. It's still crazy for me to look at it like on a sheet of paper, like, wow, Keith Yandle's a New York Ranger, because all my life, Keith Yandle, he's been an Arizona Coyote or Phoenix Coyote. He's always been a Coyote, so to now see him as a New York Ranger, it's when I didn't expect it whatsoever. It's not even like I had any time to brace myself, Rick Nash, leading up to his trade, I'd heard a lot about him, involved with the Rangers. So I wasn't too, surprised in a way at that. More just excitement. But this deal just caught me by surprise. But yes, now leading back to why I would prefer Duclair over another player in this deal was, I had heard that the initial deal would have been Daniel Girardi instead of Anthony Duclair. Or maybe Girardi instead of Moore, and a worse prospect than Duclair. I would much rather get, and I might get some hate for this, and I might get some people who would agree with me, and should agree with me, but just saying, I would much rather give up Anthony Duclair than Dan Girardi. Because like I said, the Rangers, they have to go for the Cup this year. This is their year. This is all the drafting, all the trades. To me, this is the team right here, because after this year, who knows what's going to happen to St. Louis? Who knows what's going to happen to Boyle? And all these other guys. Who knows what they're going to be able to afford in the coming future. How many more years is Lundqvist going to be this good? You just don't know. So, I'm happy with the Rangers putting all their chips in. Thank God they didn't give up Girardi in this deal. That would have been stupid. Just because, you don't give up a top... Well, right now he's our top 2 defenseman for another defenseman, especially left-handed. The Rangers need more left-handed defensemen, not more right-handed. Or they don't need to cut back on right-handed to get a left-handed. So overall, as a New York Rangers fan, I am happy with the deal. I know Anthony Duclair was our best prospect, and he's going to be a fantastic player in the future, playing alongside of Max Domi in Arizona. John Moore is a solid top 6 defenseman. A first and a second, they're high picks. Did the Rangers give up a lot? Yes, but they had to for Keith Yandle. If they didn't do it, somebody else probably would have. They're putting all their chips in, and they're going for the cup, which is why I said you can't really pick a winner for this deal right now. You can't possibly say the Rangers got robbed and they shouldn't have done it, and you can't say that the the Coyotes robbed the Rangers. You can't say that, because if the Rangers win the cup this year, that completely changes it. If the Rangers won the cup, they did what they needed to do and what they tried to accomplish. But if the Rangers get knocked out in the second or third round, or they lose in the cup, and they end up having to lose St. Louis to free agency because they can't re-sign him, they end up losing Zuccarello for whatever reason, if they end up not being able to sign him, I don't know. And Duclair ends up being a 50-goal scorer someday, then yeah, you can say then that the Coyotes won the trade, but you can't say right now this deal who won. Maybe if it was straight up player for player, you could say that, but any type of deal that includes a cup contender and a team who's going through a rebuild, a trade for an all-star for a bunch of prospects and a pick, or a prospect and a bunch of picks, you can't pick right away who wins. But yeah, that's I could say that's all I had to say, but that was a lot. Yeah, I think I covered everything. Oh, also the Rangers, they made 2 other trades as well today after this deal. Because of the Keith Yandle deal, the Rangers unfortunately could no longer afford Lee Stempniak, and I saw he got traded to the Jets for Klingberg. What's his first name? I actually forget. Hold on, let me check that, because that's going to drive me crazy now if I don't know. But they got this Klingberg guy. They had to trade Stempniak because they couldn't afford him after taking on Keith Yandle's salary. Yeah, Carl Klingberg, which I don't think he's going to play. From what I hear, or what I saw, he's 24 years old. Pretty much a disappointing player this season. So I don't know too much about him, but I don't expect him to play in the team, obviously. But then right after that, they redeemed himself, and he picked up James Shepard from the San Jose Sharks for a 4th-round pick. Again, I don't know too much about Shepard. I just know he's a defensive, two-way forward type player. He's most likely going to play on the 3rd or 4th line, I would assume. But overall, as a New York Rangers fan, after looking at it over and over again, and thinking about all the possible scenarios, I'm happy with the deal. I'm very confident now in the Rangers. As you can see on the screen, they play the Predators tomorrow night, or tonight as you guys are watching this, because I'm going to upload it overnight. But yeah, so hopefully Yandle makes his debut in that game, and I'll be able to see how he plays, see what line he's on, and hopefully he can be the player we've been waiting for 10 years and improve the power play. We'll see. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.